So okay, Paul Muller is here. He's the owner of FullBellyFarm, and that farm is one of the most famous organic farm in the U.S.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think
I don't think so. No, it's just it's a good farm in a nice place. There's some very good organic farms in the United States. As all over the world, there's some very good organic farms. So we're just one of many good organic farms.
Okay. So also, he's greatest farmer in the U.S.
Holy cow! So what do you want me to give you some money now? Thank you very much. At the end of the interview, I'm going to pay him for those comments. That's very nice of you. I'll pay you out $500. We're all done. Thank you very much. They're very good farmers all over the world, and everybody has their own place that they try and do the best they can on, and that's what we do here. We try to do the best we can to grow good food and grow a good place for people to work, to make a place that is connected to the people who buy our product. Yeah. And where we're responsible for the well-being of the planet. Think big, think small. Yeah. Think local, think wide, but it's all the work that happens here. Right.
So can I ask one more soil question? Sure. So, like some customers, they said our crop, so our vegetable is really sweet. So especially the carrots. And potatoes, it's very sweet. So is that how come? So the soil is very good.
So that's very nice when they say they're very sweet. We grow carrots in the wintertime, where we pick them. We start carrots in picking in October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and we try to stop picking carrots in the summer, because they are better carrots. They're sweeter carrots with cold weather. So we choose to grow vegetables when the season will make better tasting vegetables. We could grow potatoes all year round, or carrots year round, but I think they're not the same carrots as when they have cold weather and they are grown in a season when they are particularly good. So that's one aspect. We choose the season to grow better flavor. Okay? The other thing is that organic farming is about making more nutritional, micronutrients, nutritional value, good minerals, making those more available through having an active, healthy soil. Feeding soil. About how we do that. And we do that with trying to have something growing on the soil almost all year round. So if we now finish a field of broccoli, we change those beds over and we plant a cover crop, or we let the weeds grow, but we try and get another crop growing so that we have living roots in the soil as much as possible. And why is that important? Well, again, those living roots are from plants that are taking sunlight that powers is the power of the system, and with photosynthesis in relationship with the plant, they make oxygen, which is good for everyone. They take carbon dioxide and put it into plant tissue, which is good for taking carbon out of the air. But they also, those plants make sugars for all of the biology in the soil. So what we're learning is that if you feed that biology in the soil, that biology works with the plant, and if the plant is hungry for phosphorus, if the plant is hungry for sulfur or another mineral, they works with the plant. All of the bacteria and microorganisms and fungi in the soil work with the roots there to find what that plant needs, and they make it available. So good food should taste good. Right? If you grow good tomatoes, they should taste good. if you grow good apples, they should taste good. And it should be a balance of providing those trees or plants with what they need for nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, sulfur, all the micronutrients, but also feeding the soil. So the minor nutrients, the copper, the molybdenum, all the minor nutrients that make flavor are there that get pulled into the plant, so that you have a full complement of everything that you need to have something that's very sweet and good. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's feeding the soil biology. The soil, so you create a food system for all the biology there. So a good example of something like that we try and do on the farm is how you can, and I talk about it, how you make more layers of life on your farm. Think about layers of life.
Yeah.
Okay, if you only thinking about growing a tree for apples, and you only think about the apples, and you don't think about the soil, you're missing a layer. If you don't think about the soil, because the soil is very important, there's billions and trillions of microorganisms in the soil that help the plant. If you don't think about that, you think only about the apples in the tree, then you're missing that layer of life. If you don't think about the layer underneath the trees, what can you grow underneath your trees in order to make more food for the whole soil underneath, for the trees above? You can grow plants that make nitrogen and feed the trees with nitrogen, because they give away nitrogen. So they pull it from the air and they give it away to the trees. You can plant trees that cover the soil to prevent evaporation. That's another layer of life. Okay? Then another layer of life you have in the trees and in the grass and above is all the insects that can be there. So if you grow flowers, you can now have all the bees and the good wasps and the good butterflies and things work for you, because you provide them with food. You make food for them by growing the flowers in your orchard, or something that they can eat. They need food also, right? But that's another layer of life. You can grow good insects in that next layer of life. And then within, above that in the tree itself, you can have good ecology in the tree. So you have good beneficial insects there that are preventing diseases. You can have good fungus and good bacteria there that prevent diseases. You can have you can support another layer of life on the leaf surface of the trees to prevent diseases, or to eliminate a problem that might happen, or to create an environment where you might not have worms in your apple, because now you have yeasts and fungi and viruses there that create a healthier tree that resists those things. So those are all layers of life. Soil's one layer. The plants growing in the soil is another layer. The insects growing in those plants is another layer. The birds are another layer. Birds eat a lot of insects. The bats that we have flying at night eat the moths that eat at night. Or another layer of life. So an organic farm is growing more layers of life, paying attention to all the levels that are interconnected by what you do as a farmer. So it's very important. So a good organic farm has lots of life. And when here, I think that it's the nice thing about this farm, at times you can stop in the summertime and just listen, and the birds, lots of birds. Many birds out here. The bees, you can hear them. You can hear them. You can hear the buzz of insects. They're working for us. At nighttime, the bats fly out. They go to work for us. So it's all things that can work for you to make your farm richer. So when we designed our farm, we said we want to have some orchard, we want to have fields, and in the orchard we can grow flowers. In the fields we can grow crops. We can have rows where we grow insects. All of those things can be interconnected in a farm design. So a good organic farm thinks about design, how you put your farm together in order to allow more life to prosper there.
Every year, we have to change crop place.
So that's right. We all the time. So we don't think that we can grow potatoes and potatoes and potatoes and potatoes in the same field. Okay, that's I don't think is the best thing for the field. So we will grow potatoes and a cover crop, and then maybe we have spring vegetables, and then a cover crop. And the animals go in, and they eat the cover crop.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about animals, but the animals are part of what goes on here because the animals do one step of, let's call digestion, right? They eat something.
Yeah.
They grow stronger. They get put on muscle. So that's capturing sunlight and making muscle, right, through the plant.
Yeah.
Okay, so that they makes good meat. But they also then poop on the ground. And in their stomach, they digest and they take what they need, but they also add back to the farm. So the animals are important, I think, because they help build a stronger, more healthy ecosystem. So we like the animals, the chickens and the sheep migrating around the farm. So we may have potatoes and then a cover crop. And then spring vegetables, and maybe another cover crop. The sheep eat that cover crop. Okay, that gets worked into the soil or stays in the soil. It makes the soil richer, and then we might grow another vegetable crop or two vegetable crops. But it probably is not potatoes until 4 or 5 years later, and we see potatoes again.
Yeah.
Okay. Or to make the space so there's no diseases and there's no problems there. You know, so that's just something we do. Now we could grow potatoes and potatoes and potatoes all the time, and we do here. We're very fortunate. We can grow spring potatoes and fall potatoes. So we plant our potatoes in February here. Okay, and that's for our spring crop, and we harvest those in April, May, and June, and then we plant potatoes again in August, and we harvest those in November, December, January, February. So we can have potatoes almost year round. So we have to think about what we plant, where we plant it, rotations. How to build more carbon in the soil with crops that feed the soil, and how that fits into this whole year-round process of keeping you employed and everyone else employed. So it's a big picture that we're trying to figure out. Some of the design stays the same, right? We believe in diversity, as keep as much diversity as possible. We believe so that diversity supports different layers of life. That diversity also harvests different things. So if we make a cover crop on ground, in that cover crop we may have 10 different types of plants. Okay, the 10 different types of plants affect the root system differently because it's not all one plant giving the exudates, the sugars to the microbes. It's everybody together. So each plant gives a different exudate, feeds a different part of the soil health. So we try and keep the ground covered. Okay, we try and keep a mulch on the top of the ground if we can. Okay, we try to minimize the amount of tillage that we do. We try to see if the animals can come in because that helps also. And those are kind of the big picture of design. And we fit the fields and things and the crop needs and the market plan all into that big picture. So it's a lot of pieces to think about. Good farms are not simple. They're very complicated.
They're complicated.
But they're actually it's very interesting because they're very fun. This is a very fun type of farming because you see all those things working together. And sometimes when you're not looking, you see something that surprises you. Which is also very
Yeah.
right?